Well, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, but more specifically, sorry, trying to do this again, in Alaska, and I am trying to get this situated. We're going to make a card, this one, which truly is very, very simple. I simply took the, let's see, where did it go? I have it here. Oh, duh, I have it right here. I took this one that is the sunflower something. I can't remember. I need to find that, don't I? Hold on one sec. Okay, I do remember sunflower 3D embossing folder. And this is the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. And we're going to use both of them, the sunflower on top and the corrugated on bottom. I saw some example somewhere of somebody doing that, and I thought it was just so cute. So we're going to do it. And then sending love and best wishes. This is going to a friend of mine who is dealing with cancer. And sadly, we have, too many people in our lives that are dealing with cancer. And I just hate that. But I thought it would be nice to send a card. So what we're going to do is, and I'm going to sort of start from the very beginning. I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight cardstock, and we're going to cut it in half for our card base. So on the long end, I am going to put it in here on the 11-inch side. We are going to put it in here at 5.5. That's half of it, and cut it in half. Then we want this piece, and I want it at 4, yes, I had to think, 4 by, so I need to cut off 1/4 inch, so 5 1/4, and then, so I'll have this little strip left, and then, so that will go on the front of this, but because I want it to have a little bit of definition, I'm going to put the what's the color? Early Espresso layer in there that will be just between those two. So I'm going to pull out my scraps of Early Espresso, and I have one that is already 8.5 by, 8.5 by 4 1/4. And so I am going to cut that down to, I'm trying to think here, 4 1/8. That's right, yes. By 5 3/8. So I'm just cutting off this little bitty strip, and now this will fit on here. Now here's the deal. It has 1/8 inch all the way around, and when I put it on here, it will also have 1/8 inch. But here's the deal. As soon as I emboss this Daffodil Delight layer, it's going to shrink it up just a little bit. Okay, so be aware of that, and we're going to do it. So I'm going to lift you up so that I can bring in, oops, I just think I pulled that, okay. There we go. And I'm going to bring in my big embossing, gotta pull, I'm going to have to pull you just a little bit out of line, okay. Stampin' Cut Emboss Machine. I am going to put the platform one on, and then I want platform 4. Now you can see on here that it's going to tell you if you're embossing with a 3D embossing folder that you need 1 and 4, and you put your embossing folder in between. Whoops, can you see that? Okay, so 1 and 4 in between for an embossing folder, with, of course, the paper inside. So I'm going to lay that, the 1 down. I am going to take my cardstock, and I just decided, you know what, I kind of like way up here in this corner. Now the problem with way up in this corner, and I do want to get it somewhat straight, is that this corner right here isn't going to have any embossing, and I'm okay with that, but just be aware of it. So let me show you what I mean. If you look at the little card, you see how there's nothing up here, but there's embossing on all the rest of it. So just FYI. So we're going to place that on platform 1. We're going to place the 4 on top of that. And we're going to roll it all the way through. Okay, now what that does for us is it gives us a full sheet. Okay, now I could just make my card from this, but like I said, I saw somewhere somebody took their they didn't take the mini, I don't remember what they took. But anyway, whatever it was, it looked really nice. Now, the one thing, because these are straight lines, I do want to be sure that I have them straight. Okay, you can get a slight bit off and cover it up with the ribbon, but we're going to put it on just like that. And notice the part that I do not want embossed, again, I'm going to put outside the embossing folder. And then I'm going to place this on the base plate 1 and 4, and I'm going to roll this through. And to be honest, I'm just going to go that little bit. Now I need to make sure before I let this move that I did get and I did not. So I'm going to put it back in there and go all the way through. It won't be bad on this part that's already embossed because it does not touch any of the plate. But, you know, I was just kind of trying to be doubly certain. Okay, so there we go. All right. Oh, I did get some ink on there. That's okay because we're going to cover that up with ribbon. I'm going to get this out of the way so you can see. There we go. Okay, now, whoops, I need to get rid of that plate. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight. Yes, it's Daffodil Delight on Daffodil Delight. I am going to use my Old Olive. Get that out of the way. Okay, and I am going to get my Early Espresso. Now, one thing, I'm going to move you back over here. Okay. One thing I love about this glass mat is that I can use it to blot off my inks. Okay, so I'm going to pull up, I've got my brush, I've got my ink, I'm going to rub it on there, and then I'm going to move these a little bit. Okay, I can rub it on here so that it's not so heavy on my card, and then I'm very, very, very lightly going to go over the center of that sunflower. Not very dark at all. I don't want it dark. And then I'm going to go ahead and close that one up. If I needed more ink, I could grab it here and put more ink on here. But again, I really don't. So I'm just going to, I could take a wet wipe, but I don't seem to have one right here. So I do want to clean that up just so that it doesn't get on anything. Then I'm going to take my old olive. Again, I'm going to scrape it off. And I'm just going to put the barest little bit. Let me straighten you up here. You are a little crooked. Okay, move this. And I'm going to put just a little bit here. Again, I'm going very, very light. I do not want, and I'm not even worrying. You see how I've got a little bit of a mark? Somehow I got ink on that embossing folder. And I'm going to go right here, pick up a little bit more, right there. Okay, I'm going very, very light. I'm not pushing or anything. I'm just kind of lightly getting that ink on there. And I'm not re-inking other than from my glass mat. And that's one of the reasons I love the glass mat. It doesn't waste ink, if you will. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and go with my Daffodil Delight. Same thing. I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to get some of the ink off. And then I'm going to come around here. Doesn't matter as long as I don't go too far down below. And ink up my sunflower. Isn't that just gorgeous? I just love that sunflower. Okay, a little bit more ink right there. And I can come over my early espresso if I happen to. It's not going to be a big deal. Okay, I think I've used up just about all of that ink. Good use of it, right? Okay, there we go. Then I think I'm done with my Daffodil Delight, so I'm going to put it back away. And now those are done. I'm going to clean up that last little bit of ink, and we're good there. Now, I will tell you that on this one, I used some white ribbon that I had, and then I took my blends marker in Old Olive. I think I used the light, but I've got the dark right here in my hand. Oh, here it is. So, no, I have the wrong way. Or do I have two of these? Okay, I've got two Old Olives, dark. So I've got my light somewhere here. Anyway, and I just colored the ribbon. But I just used the last of it. So I looked back over in my ribbon, and I do have another Old Olive. This was from the Ornate Garden. There were 2 packages of ribbon in here, and it's a little thinner. Those would have looked really good layered, but I'm still going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to take and put my ribbon across here. I am going to, we'll make sure it's flat, yes. And then I'm going to fold it over here. I am going to grab a piece of, let me see. Here it is. Grab a piece of tear and tape, and I'm going to peel off 2 little pieces that will cover the ribbon. And I'm going to put one here. And it doesn't really need to be that long. No sense in wasting ribbon, right? Oops. There we go. Put that down. You don't want to press too hard because you don't want to... where's my scissors? There we go. You don't want to smash your corrugated. And so I'm going to look on the other side and make sure they're fairly even. I could even measure it, and it is, so I can see that. So we're good to go there. Then I am going to I'm going to cut off another piece of my ribbon. Oh, here it is. And not very long, because these are both going for men. And so I want to have just a short little piece of ribbon, and I'm going to tie a knot. I'm not tying a bow, so it doesn't need to be very long, although I still will end up cutting the ends off. Okay, there we go. And cut that. And cut that. There we go. Then, get rid of that. Put this away. You know, if you keep organized, you're not as likely to lose stuff. Yeah, that's going to happen. Okay, then I'm going to use Thinking of You. Thinking of You came from The Right Words. I love this stamp said, to someone worth celebrating every single day, thanks so much for thinking of me. Happy birthday. Hoping the loss you feel right now will be eased by wonderful memories. And this is what I'm going to put inside. Sending good vibes. I don't really like the good vibes because it seems like they're saying I'm sending prayers, but they don't want to say, anyway, that's just me. But just know, so this is an any. So one of the things that I like about these sentiments in The Right Words is that there's inside sentiments and outside sentiments. And I just love that. Anyway, but just know how much I love and care about you. I wish I had the right words for this time, for a time like this. I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you. I really don't like that you're leaving, but I hope you love where you're going. I miss you already. Forever loved, forever remembered. Thinking of You, which is the one I'm using. And then this one will be my inside sentiment. So I am going to use, now one thing I like to encourage you to do is go back and get your old, shoot, I don't even remember which one this is. I'll see if I can find this and I'll put it down below. But this is the shape of this sentiment. Punch. And so I'm going to take, and I do want my early espresso. Here it is, for the sentiment. So, Thinking of You. And one of the things I love about a Thinking of You sentiment is that truly you can use it almost any time. I mean, it can be happy or sad. There we go. It can be just so many different things. And so I'm glad that we have a lot of Thinking of You sentiments in a lot of different fonts and sizes. And so this is the extra piece off of what I had cut a few minutes ago. All right. Now, one thing I do want to do is add a little bit of border. Look at this. If I put this on here or this on here, which do you prefer? This has just the teeniest little border as opposed to this one. And so that's what I did. I took my ink and just barely gave it a little bit of emphasis, a little bit of edge to make it stand out a little bit more, because it's still on the Daffodil Delight cardstock, which is the exact same cardstock that I used here. And so I want it to stand out just a little bit more. Now I think, no, I'm not done with that either. I've got to stamp the inside. So I'm going to take some dimensionals, and basically they are going to go on either side of the ribbon. So I am going to put them in each of those corners. And then you can just punch in the middle and it pops up the edge, makes it easier to take off. I mean, I've got fingernails, but not all of us do. There we go. And put this right there. Now I am going to take my early espresso layer. Now, I will say this. I encourage you, and you can see how there's It's not exactly even all the way around, especially up and down. So if that bothers you, one thing you can do is make this Daffodil Delight layer exactly the size of this brown and then cut it afterwards. I don't think it's that necessary, but you could. Okay, so what I was going to say with the... Oh, let me put that away. I keep trying to put it away. I hate sandwiching this between my layers like this and not using any of that early espresso layer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of these, and nobody will ever know that I've cut some of the middle out of it. There we go. I now have some labels that I can white emboss on, or gold emboss on, or silver emboss, whatever. And then I'll put it between these, and nobody will ever know that there are holes punched out of the middle of it. And that is particularly helpful if you are doing lots and lots of layers, or you've got a card that is kind of heavy, then that can, to send, then that takes out a lot. Now I'm putting glue on this layer because I don't really want glue right there, at least not until it's all put together. It probably doesn't really matter. It's just one of those things. And now I'm going to put this layer on, and it hides the back of the Daffodil Delight layer where I had put the tape. And now I am going to, I have a little bit of ink on here, so that needs to be my front because it'll be covered up. So I'm going to fold this in half like that and use my bone folder, which is hiding. I could use my thumb, but boy, I'll tell you, after a while that can get to you. So let me go ahead and do it now and find it, because I really do want that to be nice and flat. I know it's here because I just had it. What can you do with it? Oh my goodness. Crazy woman. Well, it's sitting right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to give it a nice crease. There we go. Now I'm going to glue this and put it on here, and you see how, oops, there's a teeniest little bit. So I am going to use my eraser. I have a sand eraser here somewhere. I'll try this one. Oh, here it is. So I've got all kinds of erasers here. This sand eraser is really good for erasing ink. Sand eraser mono. It's from Tombow as well. This high polymer eraser, which is really good for erasing pencil marks, and this is really good for erasing glue. If you want links to those, just put a note down below, and I do believe I already have them on my extras list, but as you can see, I've got a couple of things here, but they're not even going to show. But the one that was down here, totally gone. All right, so now let's glue this on. And now I can put glue over those holes if I want to. There we go. And be sure it's got that little bitty border all the way around. There we go. Oh, I see where I'm getting the ink right here. So let me wash that off. I think I have. It's always nice. I really don't like hand sanitizer, but for this, it does really well. It just takes it right off. Okay, and another little bit of, if I had hand wipes here, I'd use that. Okay, so there's the front of our card. On the inside, we are going to put our white layer that I thought I had. So we'll cut us another one because I don't see where it went. So I do like to keep a stash. And you know what? Oh, I may already have. I keep a stash of card bases, but this one may be, let me measure it. Yep, 5 1/4 by 4. So it is the perfect size to go on the inside. And let's see, I said I was going to be putting, where did it go? Oh yeah. Hoping the loss you feel right now will be eased by wonderful memories. So I do not have that one used already. So let me see where it is. Here it is. Hoping. All right, so I need this. Whoops, helps if you look at the front. There we go. There it is. All right, so I'm going to pull this one out, and I will show you how I put these together. So first of all, I go to the side that has the stamps cut, the labels cut out, and then I just fold over a little bitty corner on each side. Then I do not pull off the whole label. Then when I pull this off here, I put it on the block, okay, and because that keeps the shape of the label. And then I can pull these two off very easily and peel the back off of this. Come on, there we go. And then put this one down and look through the label on here. I am going to pull this just a little bit further toward me because I have a hard time seeing through I can't see it through the camera, in other words, to line it up enough. All right. And the edge of this, the label matches the edge of the stamp. So if you can see through there, which is what I was having a hard time doing, then it's really easy to line up. Now, you'll notice I have not put the inside glued down. I need to get my glue, my ink. Yeah, glue. I'm going to stamp it up. Oh, I got way too much glue on there. This is really juicy. So I'm going to stamp this off on a scrap piece of paper. See there how it was a little juicy? Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. Having a little bit of trouble with that one. My ink pad doesn't seem to be very even. All right, that was because it was... All right, so ink it up, but I'm not pressing hard. Tap, tap, tap. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to line it up on here. But the reason I was saying I'm not going to put it, and I don't press too hard when I put it on the cardstock either, is I want to make sure that it's even. That's I probably can do a little better. So I'm going to flip it over and try again. And we'll use whichever one is the best one. Okay. Again, I'm not pressing hard. I'm just putting it on here. And that one's crooked, so we're going to use the other one because it wasn't bad. All right. And I'm going to put up my ink before I get more ink on me. Not that I ever do that, you understand, right? All right, and I've got just a teeny little bit of raised edge. So I am going to use my bone folder and smash that out. Now I'm going to put glue on the back of my inside. and a very dear friend passed away just recently, and her husband. Oh, I thought I got some ink on there. Okay, there we go. This one is for her husband, and this is for my friend struggling with cancer. So, very simple cards, but bright and cheery as well, and can be masculine, especially once you, border that and all. So I hope that helps. Please give me a thumbs up or a like or whatever it's called down there, and share this video if you got something from it, and subscribe if you have not already done so. You do have to be signed in to YouTube in order to give me the thumbs up. Also, comment below. I would absolutely love that. It rocks my world. Makes me very happy. So thank you, thank you. Have a good one. And what's more, it's all free to you. Don't you love it? Thank you, thank you. Have a good one. And I will see you next time.